Hi, welcome back to Tiny Classrooms Live.
Hi, the doctor here, Don Zulu in Taos, New Mexico.
And I'm Artie Nathan, the HR guy here in Las Vegas.
And it's an honor to be back, Maike Benner from Frankfurt.
And I'm Lily Rode from MaLish, also from Frankfurt.
Dr. Fadil Chitauku from Academy of Leadership Sciences, Switzerland, Zurich.
And
Welcome
our
all.
topic today is communications and courage, lessons in leadership from 2020. And 2020 was quite a year, and I think we all learned a lot. So what lessons do you guys think we've learned?
Well, looking, what we often do into a corporate context. So what's important for people who are leading in companies, maybe in a team function, but, maybe also just because they're really a strong personality and take the word for other colleagues. It's definitely the concept of transparency, communication, and connection. And that has been specifically challenging in 2020. As we all know, the interpersonal connection, which often happens when we are on site and we meet, has been shut down with several lockdowns worldwide. So we had to make sure that transparency, communication, and connection was still going on in the workplace. And as it's been challenging, I'm sure this also has opened many new ways of communicating using different methodologies. Don, I remember in one of our calls some months ago, we actually said that the telephone, has kind of a revival, because we now realize we can use the telephone to reconnect with our employees, with our teammates. So this is definitely something redeveloped or rediscovered in 2020 that we're going to take on in 2021.
Very excellent. Thank you.
Another issue I think has to do with agility in organizations. And if nothing else, this year demonstrated the importance of agility in a vivid way, as companies and of all sizes had to integrate creative solutions to implement transitions of people in their work environments. And agile just means that you have to be flexible, you have to be nimble, you have to be quick. And coming up with decisions and solutions to the problems we face requires us to use all of our people, requires us to use all of our emotional IQ skills, and bringing them together, trusting them. I mean, we learned quickly this year that we could trust people working from home or out of sight. And that's a good thing. And we have to remember that in this new year. And I believe that agile also requires that we don't try to be perfect while we're coming up with new solutions. I think we break down the problems in small pieces and solve each one independently and individually, and then start building on them to get to a real, agile solution and decision-making process.
That's very good. Agility helps lead to trust too, doesn't it, Artie? Just as a
Yes.
caveat on the end of your conversation.
Yep.
So creating boundaries.
Yes, so 2020 told us that we have to redefine the idea of corporate work-life balance. So for the time being, there is no work-life balance. All employees are in remote kind of status, and some families have to handle their internal setup, means kids running around. Some families don't have the opportunity for an own office, so everything has to be rearranged. And what is also interesting is that we as leaders have to give the instruction also to our employees that they are kind of setting boundaries, so that they are also flexible, that they are modifying their daily work, and we can help and support them in this, because a lot of people facing the situation being the first time remote, they don't know how to handle home, family, and work, and still be productive and a happy employee as well. And also what is also important, that employees are taking like kind of staycations as well, so we cannot go on vacation, but that we are taking care that they are aware of the daily structure, and that they are taking time off to reconnect. And what we also can do is that when we are scheduling meetings, so online meetings, that we have enough breaks in between. This can really be a game changer, because if you are running from one online meeting to another online meeting, then you are not really productive and really efficient, and you cannot refocus on the topic which is going on.
I think that's very excellent. Thank you very much, Lily. Fadil, why don't you and I head straight into leading fearlessly, and we'll head in fearlessly.
Exactly.
So,
Well,
go ahead.
shall I start? 2020, it made us a lot of fear, actually, so we have to admit it. But we expect from leaders, to try and calm the employees down as much as possible. We have just published the paper, actually, and our team, that means Arti, yourself, Don, and the other colleagues from us, international colleagues from 4 different kind of continents, and Lily and Mike, and next time, of course, you are on board as well. It was a very good paper, actually, which we have just published, leadership, risk-taking, decision-making, and so on. So we suggest actually people to read that paper. And yeah, so it was a lot of challenge. Leaders, they had to make decisions. They have to overtake actually barriers as well. So sometimes they didn't have time to think much or to consult, because I mean, in the short time we have to change many things, to do from home and so on. So it's very important in such a situations that leaders try to reduce the fear, actually. Don, you would like to add, I believe.
Yeah, if we're really talking about the lessons that we've learned in 2020, we're really addressing 2021 now and beyond. We must be transparent, build very authentic connections, and demonstrate courage with your employees. Now, these are points that have always been valuable and important to effective leading, but they've become increasingly important as a vehicle for getting over the endemic fear that this whole confusion in the economy and in the ecology of the world has caused. We have to be willing to stand up and have hard conversations and ask tough questions, even when that means voicing an unpopular response or an opinion. So this year taught me, and I think it taught the rest of us, to be resilient, to acknowledge our flaws and challenges and embrace the unknown, create a collaborative, safe place where we could build a long-lasting, sustainable solution to the challenges that we face, not just for the present, but for the future. So that kind of begins to wrap it up. This is all stuff that we've talked about repeatedly, isn't it, Artie, in our now 106 episodes, but it's become very pointed and very purposeful if we're to sustain the health of our employee base and of our companies and so on. So
don't worry about getting this right the first time.
Yeah.
Because this is a new skill you have to learn. And just commit to doing it and start small and learn as you go. And don't worry about being perfect, because perfection is the enemy of progress more often than not.
Yeah.
So as we start 2021, let's start applying the lessons we learned in 2020.
that's
Thanks
very
for
well said. So Lily and Mikey and Fadil, thank you again for helping us do this and for being so excellent yourselves. We really appreciate it. See you next time.
See you then.
Thank you. See you.